Alright, hey everybody. Didn't do update video last week for what's going on in the world of D3. Um, for week 3, this is week 4, so I guess I decided to go ahead and combine everything into one little block. We'll go ahead and take a look at some season stats that I have already. We'll go ahead and take a look at my profile. Let me see here. Heroes, 125 hours, 49 minutes. It's been 4 weeks. So, 4 weeks times 7 days of the week. Of course, that's 28 as we know. 28 days. Oh, wait a minute. Did I do that right? I'm trying to think. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week. No, that's correct. 4 weeks. That's 28 days. Yeah, 7 times 4 is 28. I'm not going crazy. Sorry, it's been a long morning. So 28 days. We'll times it by 24 hours. That's 672 hours. I've only played 125 of them, so I haven't been playing as much I possibly have could been. Been out doing some certain things, so over the last 28 days, let me see here. Well, as compared to most normal people, I guess. So, 125 days, let's go ahead and put that at 126. So 28 days, or I'm sorry, 126 hours divided by 28 days. We're averaging about 4.5 or 5 hours a day. That means I played a minimum of about 4.5 hours every single day. Every day for about a month. And when you think about that, for some people, they think that's kind of crazy to play 4.5 hours every day. Been doing it completely solo. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a pretty lackluster experience. I feel like if I would have kept fishing with the Helltooth a lot more, I probably could have been a little bit higher. Probably could have been pushing towards 81, 82, 83, 84. But the big problem that I've noticed is that it's incredibly hard to run this whole game solo anymore. If you want to play some leaderboards, it's pretty much, I don't want to say it's next to impossible. I still think you can get things done, but you really have to utilize a group so you can push higher level, greater risks. Get your gyms to a higher level than the current rift that you're pushing, and then also get levels higher so you can go ahead and free farm and do what you want to do. Well, Debo, can you go a little bit more specific? Let me go ahead and give you an example. A single player or player that is playing solo, Paragon points, you're going to be at a disparity, but that's not too bad. I don't think so. Most people, some people at 1,500, 1,600 already. I'm only at about 800 playing this much every day, and a lot of times I even had a ruby inside my helmet. So you got to take that into account. So even now, not worrying about the Paragon. The biggest issues is the greater rift levels you're giving access to, the level to your gyms. Now we won't go ahead and bring in anything about what gear you can possibly get, due to the fact that with the gear that you have. From running in groups, I think that's a fair advantage for running in a group. If you're running in a group, you should be able to share loot with everybody, and you're getting more loot processed so you can get better pieces. I think that's fine. But in all honesty, the gym system's pretty horrendous, and I've always said this. If you're leveling up, let's say you start plateauing out at 80, you're fishing at 80. Right now I feel like I can do 75 to maybe 78 pretty confidently, so we'll just go ahead and just be nice about it. We'll say we'll go ahead and give my gyms level 78 even though they're not. We'll go ahead and say at level 78, my gyms, I can get that to a level 78, and I can get all my gyms level 78. Some people have gyms level 90 into 100, and the crazy thing about that is that, people are ranking up to the highest is level 93. I think the lowest entry level point is like 82 or 83 now. Somebody who has gyms that are like level 100 from running inside of a group, that's pretty crazy when you think about it, when they come and play when they actually end up beginning to play the solo leaderboard, because there was nothing really solo about it. I know there's been a complaint before, but they should just really just look into redoing the whole structure, just having group play, because that's the only thing that really determines any type of functionality, because with 4 people, you're getting stuff done, but I digress. The legendary gems, you're trying to, I'm moving up one level at a time. If you're playing completely solo, it's very hard because you can't, basically go above any levels in the greater rift because you're only limited to what you can personally push. So I pushed 70, then I maybe skipped to 73, skipped to 75, and after that it slowed down because then I was only having enough remainder time to clear one level at a time, 76, 77, 78, and then about 79 I'd start fishing, and then get to 80, start fishing, and those fishing attempts take anywhere between 30 attempts sometimes, maybe even 40 attempts just to move up one level, and the thing that's a problem is that when you're playing solo and you're leveling up that way, you're burning through so many keys just to get up one level at a time, which is very awkward because in a group setting, what most people do is they run inside of a group. Groups can push up to, greater of level 100 or whatever. Even if they're struggling, they can push up to about 90, okay? But most groups don't have a problem getting to level 100, but most groups can push to greater of 90, and whatever level you unlock inside of groups is automatically unlocked in solo. So the same guy, you can come in and for the first month just exclusively play in a group and never do anything solo wise. So you play everything and anything in the group. You're getting your gear ready. Let's say that your group ends up plateauing at greater of level 100. So you end up running greater of level 100. You get all your gems that are major to level 100. Then you get all your secondary gems to, let's say, level 90. That's very easy to get. So you spend the first month just playing in groups, getting your gear, getting your ancient gear, getting on your recipes, doing split bounties, being efficient. And then after the end of 1 month, you reflect on what you have. You have a high paragon. You have a ton of gems. You got your primary gems to level 100, but you got a lot of extra gems around level 90, so you can use them in the despair recipe to give extra stats to your gear. And then not to mention you got access to all the greatest level to 100. So after a point of playing for 1 month straight, that person at that point in time can be like, okay, well, what's the number one witch doctor? Okay, or, whatever class. The highest rank is, let's say, as example, 93. Well, there's a couple things I can do here. I can look at my gear. If my gear matches what that person has and I have the same things that he does, then I can just start spamming 90s. Now you might be saying, well, Diva, what's the problem? Well, he's going from a group setting to solo leaderboard. He didn't have to climb up those levels by himself. He used the group. He got to level 100, which unlocks all the greater risks up to 100, even in solo play. And then that person just simply says, okay, I got 100 keys. I have the same gear as this 93 clear, which is top 10. Then he just starts running through the rifts over and over again with the 100 keys, and the only thing is he needs to succeed one time. So if he succeeds one time, now that person's automatically ranked in top 10 above everybody else in solo leaderboard. And it really wasn't any type of solo play. It's most of the play has been done in groups, and then you go back and you terrorize your solo group, your solo level. Now, I'm not saying that the people who play the most should get punished, and that's not what I'm asking for, but they need to have certain things, like for example, if you are there's a couple things that can fix this. When you're playing solo, you should have to climb up each rank or each level by yourself. So if you start at level 1, you'll skip to 10. You'll probably skip to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You'll be skipping by crazy amounts of levels. Or, if you do a lot of greater rifts, they unlock that way. If you do a lot of regular rifts or T13 rifts, you unlock, I do believe, up to 60 automatically. So, you keep grinding, solo play by yourself. When you're solo, you should only be able to go up what you personally did because it's a solo leaderboard. It makes sense. So, let's say you get up to 70 and things start slowing down, and then you start climbing from 70 to 75, 75 to 80, using your keys as solo. And as you unlock these levels solo, then you gain access to them solo. If you're inside of a group, whatever your group was able to do the highest, and that's perfectly fine. And this would actually help out a lot on kind of making the solo leaderboard experience make a little bit more sense. So people are just not just going to all these groups, coming back, doing a couple runs or doing 100 runs after they got all the stuff set up and just beating the rift because they can select whatever level they want. Whereas a true solo person, they're going up one level at a time. This person could circumvent that, group up, skip all these levels, and then come back and pick whatever level they like. Another thing is, too, they need to also change the gems from basically ranking up based on how high you get in a greater rift to basically experience. And if you were to actually change this to experience, then at least at some point somebody could say, okay, well, it's not necessary about how high in the rift you can necessarily push. Like, you always basically just have your gems increasing a certain amount of experience, and certain gyms could still have the experience limiter, like you get to a certain level and then it caps off. But at least if you're doing it by experience, then the groups can still have the advantage because they're running the 4 people, and they're, well, at least in the group setting, they can the gyms can still get a lot of experience because you're getting a lot of experience. Or they can even take it one step further and just simply say, when you're solo, your gym has a solo level gym. When you're in group, your group has it has a party level gym. So your solo level gym, if you spent no time playing solo, should only be level 1, whereas if you spend all your time in group, should be level 100. So if you want to go back and you want to level up a gym, or however you want to do it, then what you really need to do is you need to go in there and you need to level up the gym solo, because it doesn't make any sense that you're going to go and play all these group games and then come back to the individual leaderboard and just basically just dominate. Or even just not even that, it's just in general, why even have it as a solo leaderboard? It doesn't make sense anymore. It's all group and stuff like that. So I guess the long story short of what I'm trying to say is, the gyms need to go scaled off by experience. Gyms need to have 2 different levels, group levels and solo levels. Greater rifts need to have separate greater rift levels. What you complete inside of a group and what have you completed by yourself. That would help out a lot as well. And then maybe for like the despair recipe, you can give like a little bonus from like when you sacrifice a gym. Or maybe just make it so whatever your level gym is gives this much amount of stats for your gear. And if you're playing solo or whatever, you don't have to worry about it because it's more based on experience. The higher experience you have, that can be for group or solo play. Whatever the highest level you got for the experience, you put it on the ancient item, it gives you that many stats, and that's perfectly fine. I don't think Blizzard's going to change any of this, and that's perfectly fine, but this is just an example of things that kind of weird things out, and when you start making the leaderboards based on how high you can get a rift and stuff like that, and you put more prioritization on partying, then actually the whole mechanics behind of what it is. I think a lot more people would provide like a like and enjoy system if it was something that was refreshing and basically more about maximizing experience, maybe not necessarily for the greater rift system. If people can come on and play a lot of different builds or whatever build they play, and it's more about consistency of the build, and are you killing enemies? Yeah, you can have a guy running a Hell 2 build, or you can have a guy running a Cars build. You can have people running a lot of different builds, because at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to how high you can push in a greater rift. And that basically sets the precedence for the whole leaderboard system and how the game works. You could just have it based on experience. You could have it something like, the first person to Paragon level 1500 for their class, and then you adjust the experience later. That person will rank 1, and then everybody else ranks after that person when they hit max level, or basically it keeps track of the top 1,000 Paragon levels. And then as soon as that person hits 1500, that person ranks again. So if you're the third person to do it, okay, well, this is where I rank at. They need to have something like that in the game, because Path of Exile doesn't focus on how high of a dungeon you can clear. It focuses on your max level. First person in Path of Exile ladder gets to max level, that person ranks. Same thing in Diablo 2. First person to max level, that person gets that rank, and then everybody else after them. Or basically whatever the highest level is. It's just a real peculiar system that they based everything around the Greater Rift system, and it's just basically kind of faulty. There needs to be separations and guidelines between, the gyms and what levels you can climb up for solo and group play. Otherwise, you know what? In all honesty, there really is no difference. They shouldn't even have solo play or ladder individual play for everybody. It's just basically group play in general. And that's the one thing I don't understand. Am I saying this should be changed? No. Is Diablo fine the way it is? I think it's okay. I still have fun with the game, but people, if you're asking yourself why people don't play that game that long, whereas when a season lasted, people would play 2 to 3 months a season. Now it's down to 2, now it's just down to 1, and now players are only playing for the stash tab and they leave immediately because people don't care anymore. Because the amount of effort and the stuff you have to kill yourself, you can't really play by yourself. You have to always get a group of people set up, and if you play with odd hours and you can't get your friends on or certain things like that, you can't set up the group so you can rank and do what you need to do. That's all I really wanted to talk about today. My Hell 2 gear is coming okay. I'm going to play in towards the end of the season. I'm going to keep trying to maintain at least about 4 or 5 hours a day. Gear is looking okay. I got some nice ancient pieces, but like I said, my gems are kind of hit like a certain stagnant level. My Paragon level is okay. I think I might end the season, if I'm lucky, doing Greater Rift level 85, if I'm lucky, and that's slow pushing up. I already went through a lot of my gyms, had about 200 of them, down to 65. I've been through all these 65. I might be at 81, 82 if I'm lucky, and then I gotta start thinking about grinding out some 75s to get up my gear. But it's not hard to farm keys. So, it's been a month since season has came out. The numbers are astronomically low, and actually today of this Friday, I'm actually waiting in queue right now, and I actually just got into the game. As you guys can see, Path of Exile. And they just came out with a brand new expansion with a whole different level gap, new monsters, new areas, a bunch of new stuff. And it's nothing against Diablo 3, but I mean, this is their competition and they're taking it to the next level. So I hope Blizzard gets their stuff together. A new expansion might be able to change how Diablo is, but then again, I'm so afraid because Diablo 3 is so set in its way, I don't think it's ever going to change. Maybe we might meet a new action RPG, or people might go get their action RPG, fix from somebody else. And if you like the way Diablo 3 system is right now, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I can still come in and fun and have play, but really after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't really see the point in playing, or even grinding my ass away. And if you play solo and you want to rank on the leaderboards and push yourself, it's pointless. You can't. You have to be in a group. It's just how the meta is right now. And certain groups have certain compositions that they want and certain builds that you want, which really cuts down on build diversity. But that's just food for thought. Hope you guys like this video update. If you guys haven't already, you guys can go ahead and check out the Angry Chicken Wrap, or the basically Arcure guide that I made the other day. Full length into detailed guide, even has a funny rap at the end, but it really explains the build I use for farming fast and how I'm able to get so many keys so fast while solo playing and not playing in a group. I'll put it up somewhere in the annotations above me or something like that, so you guys can go ahead and highlight that or whatever and click that link and I'll take care of that video. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching this video. I will keep up with the week update on each week of Diablo and how my progress goes. But for the next couple weeks, you'll probably see more content from Overwatch because their Season 2 just started and I can get back into that. And also Path of Exile just because the new expansion's out, and I've always gotten my witches that I play, which is basically like the witch doctor and necromancer of the game. Funny enough, witches can turn into necromancers now. I've been playing that game a lot. I've been enjoying it, and I've always ended up getting high-level characters, so I'll be streaming that a lot, as well as making videos for that as well. I'm still going to make high-detail guides from Diablo, because I still want to help people out, but I might start stepping into the field of Path of Exile builds, or I might just try to master the one race, which is the witch. But that is kind of a lot. It's pretty hard to do, because the game requires a lot of forethought and looking and stuff, but outside of all that, just appreciate you guys watching these videos. Hope you guys have a good day, and hope you guys keep enjoying Diablo 3 season or Path of Exile, whatever you decide to play. I hope you guys have a good day. I'm Debo, and I'm out.